One.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Castlemilk Youth Complex podcast, The Milk Round. We're on to episode 8 this week, so that's 8 weeks we've been doing it for, and we bring this to you every Thursday on our YouTube channel, which you're probably on just now. So if you can like our videos, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. We've just been chatting before recording the podcast, and our views are going up a wee bit more. I've just checked the first video that we done for the podcast, episode 1, and it's got 100 views and 10 likes. So if we can get to 5 likes for this one, we'd be pretty happy. So if you can click that like button, guys, it just promotes us a wee bit more, gets us out there, gets us shared about. We do a whole range of topics on our podcast, so if you haven't checked out our earlier podcast, check them out too. You can get us on YouTube, and Chris is going to tell you a new feature you can get us on as well if you don't enjoy using the YouTube platform, whilst it reads out the other social medias you can get us on.
So it's probably worth mentioning that first. So I have uploaded the first 3 episodes of the Milk Round to podbean.com. So it's the milkround.podbean.com. I will stick it on the video description for you to get direct access to it. So the reason is we're calling this a podcast, but it's more like a vodcast than a podcast. It's a live video podcast that we do on YouTube. We chose YouTube because we knew everyone would have access to it, and you don't need to sign up for anything in order to get access to it. This is another thing, you don't really need to sign up for it, but it works much like a normal pod. If people have accessed podcasts before, this is a more conventional way to access an audio-only format of these podcasts. And it'll be compatible with most players and stuff like that. So I think they use RSS feeds, I believe, in order to update. So I personally do listen to podcasts and basically just update it through a program that I use.
Right.
And everyone's got their own way of accessing it. But the easiest way and most straightforward way is just to go to themilkround.podbean.com. And also our social medias, if we venture a guess. So on Facebook, we are Kelly Youth Complex Staff. On Twitter, Youth Complex CYC. Instagram, youth_complex. TikTok, Kelly Youth Complex. And if you want to email us, it's cycyoutheteam@gmail.com.
Brilliant. So last week we had quite an exciting episode. If you haven't checked out, check it out for us. It was on cooking, roughly, wasn't it? And we had 2 guests on, 2 guys from the music group, who come along to the youth complex on other nights as well, out with the music group, Marty and Harry. So big shout out to them. Thanks a lot for coming on last week. It's a great interview. We had a great laugh, but they tried to take on the champ at the quiz, and they cheated and still couldn't do it, Chris. They're just too good, they're on fire, on flames.
What can I say? It's that whole back in the day with the Brian Laudrup interview. I don't know if that's before your time, Lee.
Aye, before my time, so it is.
The Jim White, who was known to be favour that particular team that he was playing for, and for lack of a better term, he just went, "Brian, why are you so good?"
So you're comparing yourself to Brian Laudrup?
Of the specific community podcast quiz environment,
Right.
I definitely.
I mean, you've got the looks in here.
Well, yeah, it's definitely going somewhere,
And I've seen you
considering
playing.
the
I've seen you playing.
hairdressers I hear are open. We'll come to that in the future of this podcast. But it's becoming a bit wild. I didn't do anything to it tonight. I usually try and sweep it back, hairspray it, but it's getting ridiculous now. It really is.
Maybe you are going for the Brian Laudrup look, because I've seen you playing in the large group workroom, and I mean, you're up there with him.
I've officially retired now, Lee, because the last time I played football in the youth complex, I opted to play in goals. A man of my kind of seniority now, I relegated myself to playing in goals. I got nutmegged about, it wasn't double figures, but it wasn't far off. And that night I got in, thinking, well, it wasn't too bad. and I realised I'd actually injured my back as well. So
Right.
I put my back out for the weekend.
Oh no,
It was
disaster.
at that point I realised it was time to retire from
Aye.
any form of footballing activity.
Okay.
As much as it's a loss to the football world,
It is. It is.
yeah,
Chris the cat, no more.
yeah.
He's going to be missed. Sorely missed. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was last week. It was a great laugh. So thanks again to Marty and Harry for coming on. If you guys would like to feature in our podcast, just give us a message on our social medias. Or if you would just like to ask questions that we can answer on the podcast, send them through, or topics or things you want covered.
I
So
think
yeah,
we also have to say, before we move on to the next section, did you try the pot noodle wrap that they spoke
I
about?
didn't. No,
No,
I
I never
didn't.
had a chance either. I kind of, I don't generally buy pot noodles, so
I'm the same.
it's a wee bit like, oh, I need to really go out and seek that out. But also, yeah, I was a wee bit taken aback by the cheating at the quiz last week, I have to say, because Harry just played it so
It was
well, like
very
as if,
sneaky.
oh, oh, and by the way, yeah, I just looked it up and I was like,
It was
what?
brilliant. It was brilliant. It was I'm thinking about 35,000. So he didn't even go with the exact number, which is great as well. He went 2,000 lower. He went like, I'm thinking about 35,000, aye. And he's getting fed it from the other side of the room.
If
So
it
that
was a
was,
competition for telling porky pies, he would definitely have won.
aye. He's a better
Definitely.
cheater than Kirsty, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Kirsty
when
was
she
like,
goes. You could see the glow of the phone in her glasses. And I
aye.
was just like, no, mate, no, sorry, not
Not
happening.
happening. So that was last week. Also, we've got, so it was on cooking, and as I said in last week's podcast, we've got another video up about cooking. So Darren Stewart has put up a wee recipe for you guys to check out if you'd like to copy it. He's made a homemade chicken curry, Chinese style. Go and check that out. It looks great, the finished product, and I bet it tastes great too. And another video we've got up just now, similar to cooking, is an interview that we done with Paddy McKenna from Castleton Housing. So check that out. That's on our YouTube channel. It just speaks about what's happening in the community, and where you guys can get some fresh ingredients for free to take home, and make your own food. They also give out like recipes and things like that, and a wee activity on the side as well. So they're doing like plants and things that you can put in your garden. So check those videos out as well, please. Give them likes, and subscribe, as I said at the start. That helps us out majorly.
Absolutely. And also just want to mention as well that this is probably links into one of our first episodes, if not the first episode. But I finally put up the recipe for the amazing flatbreads.
Seen that?
So that is on our social media. It's on our Facebook profile from last night, and it's also on our Instagram.
Yep.
And I did a few pictures of the final product and stuff like that. So
Did you make them last night when you
I
were?
made them last night. We had a curry last night, so
Right.
we made some flatbreads
Brilliant.
with it.
No, it looked great. I've still not tried it. I've not tried anything that people have been commenting on here, like coming on and saying, "Oh, you should try this, you should try this," and I've just been sticking to the same things, or trying to come up with one different thing for me to use in my what's in my belly part of the podcast, because I've been lazy basically. I get very lazy. So that was last week, and that's everything else we've got on our YouTube channel. So just to start us off, what have you been up to this week, Chris?
So seamlessly leading on to trying new things and stuff like that. So I get one of these, you kind of get these like discount codes for takeaways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was like a well-known takeaway service. Other takeaway services are available. It's the one that you can also order a taxi from, if that gives you any hints what it is. And it was just like, it was like 50%, man. So I'm like, wait a minute here, can I look that? Right, let's try. So I tried a new place, and I have to say, I regret it. I'm not even going to mention the name of the place, because it was one of those situations where it came out as fast as it went in, Lee, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The soft wipes had to be deployed.
Oh no,
quite
disaster.
badly, yes. So that didn't go too well.
So I'm guessing it was like an Eastern cuisine.
It It involved kebab meat and some curries
Right.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint the actual cause of it really, because I'm a bit of a greedy so-and-so. So I'll eat everything.
Things.
I'm not really fussy with my food, I have to say, as you can tell. So yes, what I will say is, please do try new things, but be cautious.
Yeah, be very
Be
cautious.
cautious.
Maybe bring out the temperature, the thermometer to check the temperature of your
Oh,
food.
it was grand. Everything was grand, but I don't know. It was only me as well, so I think
Right.
it's maybe something that I've ate
Maybe you had a
in the
wee bit.
selection that nobody else had eaten.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know.
That's
But
been your
there you
week.
go. Yeah, well, that was my week. And I also went to, for the first time in 4 months, decided to take the kids to the play park, which
Right.
was Rook
Nice
and
one.
Glen. And that, I've seen crowds at Tea in the Park, mate. This rivaled it. I got the fear,
Wow.
absolute fear. So I had to bring my jumbo bottle of hand sanitizer with me.
Yeah.
So I was the classic overbearing parent. But we'll come to that in a while. And actually, when I was looking at the phase 3, the new kind of freedoms, I was actually, absolutely, it's not too bad. So I
Right.
hadn't really educated myself enough before going.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that in a wee while. But
Yeah.
so went to the park. The kids loved it though, so you
That's
can't
good.
really
That's the
say
main thing.
anything there.
Definitely. My week has been pretty similar to my last week. Been still on the golf course at the driving range, just working on my golf. And also, some people may know that the news that some places of socialising have opened. So I attended one of those places with
Wonderful.
friends. My girlfriend. We met Dean Brennan, who used to work in the youth
Yep.
complex. We met him and his girlfriend at a garden of um, beverages. But I felt really safe and comfortable. The waitresses were all using masks and hand sanitizer. We were using masks and hand sanitizer. Tables were spaced apart. If you went down into the toilet, which was inside the building, if you had to use the toilet, face masks, and you're just washing hands, and it was 2 people in a toilet at a time. So I felt safe and comfortable with that. So I don't know about staying inside. We're not sure about that yet. We'll see how we feel in the next coming weeks. But it was just nice to see quite a few people out and enjoying themselves and socialising and seeing old friends that you haven't seen for quite a while. So yeah, that's my week. So next part is the merch that's going to be rolling out in the next few months. What's on my telly and what's in my belly?
Oh.
Aye, so a fan's favourite, like we say every week. And I'm not sure whose turn it is to go first this week, Chris. Do you?
I don't know actually, because I'm losing track of it. I think I did go last. I think I went second.
Right.
So
Okay.
you go first this time.
Right.
You want?
Okay. No worries. So what's on my telly? So I've been struggling to kind of find new things to watch and all that because we're stuck in the same series still. So like some things have got so many series, so you're still watching them. All like I've been like last week, I came up with a movie. I think it was last week. But this week we have started watching a show on Netflix, and it's just daft. It's just like if you know you're only going to be in the living room for 15 minutes or 20 minutes to eat your breakfast or whatever, something like that before you head out. And it's on Netflix, and it's a US game show. Like it's similar to like Ninja Warrior UK or Total Wipeout or It's a Knockout, things like that. And it's called The Floor is Lava.
Okay, yeah.
So you probably played that when you were a wee guy. The floor is lava. You can't touch the floor. You have to jump from settee to settee and put pillows down and get across the room. So basically, what this is, it's 2 or 3 teams of 3 compete for $10,000 to get across this room. Which the studio looks brilliant. They've made it, and it is like a pool of warm water under them, but they've coloured it to make it look like lava and things like that. So they've got like a kitchen episode where they have to go over like butcher's blocks and um, get a key from a pizza oven and things like that to open something to extend it to get over to the other side. And basically, it's fastest to get to the other side without falling in the lava or having 3 people get over wins the $10,000. But it's silly because we've always liked shows like Total Wipeout and things like that. It's just easy to watch and laugh at people's failures, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I got distracted there because my daughter walked in halfway through, so I had to give her the dad
Right.
look of "Get out, get out." So I got a wee bit distracted, but I caught most of it. Yeah, I mean, like that kind of humor of just watching people fall over is
Aye.
pretty good. Me and my daughter routinely watch Fail Army all the time on YouTube, and it's she's got the same kind of sense of humor as me. We just like to laugh at people's misfortune, really.
Aye. It's an easy.
No, I can understand
It's
that
on
one.
Netflix. I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10 because it's nothing. It's not going to amaze people, but it's just quite funny to watch, and especially because they're American as well. I don't know if you feel the same, but Americans get really hyped up about things like that.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take them 8 minutes to cross a room, but they feel like they're going into war. So that makes it extra funnier. So there's like three of them all just hyping each other up, and it's like three office guys that work with each other or play golf with each other or something. So that's what's on my telly this week. So recommend that if you're bored and eating your breakfast or lunch or something like that.
It reminds me a wee bit of a show, and this may yet again be before your time. It might not be though. The Crystal Maze on Channel 4 with Richard O'Brien. And it's also quite obvious that, you know, that an overbearing boss in work has decided, hey guys, let's apply for the Crystal Maze as a team building activity. And you can just tell because it's a really kind of work relationship-y kind of, you can tell the dynamics in it. Come on, Nigel, come on, you know, that sort of stuff. So I used to love the Crystal Maze back in the
I was
day.
a fan
Maybe
as
that
well.
should be what's on my telly this week. It's not though.
Right, okay. So do you want to go with telly or will I go?
Yeah, we're going to telly because we're doing a seamless all that sort of stuff. So what's on my telly? So we've been mentioning this in previous podcasts of you kind of got Disney Plus and stuff like that, and there was a lot of kind of family films, and we have used and pretty much exceeded the Disney Plus catalogue. So I was looking for other things from my childhood. So after my successful revisit to the Back to the Future trilogy, I decided another film that was very dear to my heart when I was a child, and it's this week it was The Karate Kid.
Okay.
Now, it's probably a wee bit more obscure than something like Back to the Future, but if you were a young person at my age group in that kind of time that the film was out, then it was a huge kind of success and stuff like that. So I decided to revisit it. I also hasten to mention as well that everyone started joining karate clubs at that point as well. So including myself, I'd done it for a year when I was about 6 or 7. So the Karate Kid. Now, unfortunately, this is one of these kind of ones where your childhood memories are a lot dearer than the actual real thing. So the music was chronic. I thought, like, the music in Back to the Future is brilliant. There's some great tunes on that, some well-known songs as well. This was just obscure 80s songs that I've never heard. And that's saying something because I've heard a lot of 80s stuff. It was my kind of like childhood period, so you just suck it on. So the music was chronic, first of all. The film didn't really start till the end, if you know what I mean. He gets to a point where he's doing a lot of the kind of training and stuff like that. It's very slow, and then when you get to the actual last 20 minutes of the film, you're like, yes, go for it. Not to give too much away, but well, I'm going to anyway, I don't care. He gets to a tournament, and he's basically up against another dojo who are a group of bullies, basically, that bully him in his new school. He's just moved to this town and what have you. So it's his kind of, he befriends an old Japanese man, Mr. Miyagi, who trains him up. And he goes into this tournament. And it's great. That's a really great bit of it. And you can tell the guy that plays Daniel-san is definitely channeling his kind of like inner Sylvester Stallone there. He's like a kind of teenage version of Sylvester Stallone. It reminded me a lot of Rocky in a way, you know, like a lot of patterns were kind of Rocky. And as I say, the end, great stuff. Ends really abruptly. I was like, wait a minute, is that it? But then I forgot that there's actually a sequel. So we watched the sequel in the last few days, and this is almost like a mirror image of the first film, where the first 20 minutes of the film are really good and the rest of it's a bit.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then, so there's a really good scene that is set just after the tournament where the Mr. Miyagi and the bully dojo sensei have a bit of a face-off in the car park. Right. And Mr. Miyagi basically owns him quite well. And that's it. You don't need to watch the rest of the film after that. But it's worth it for nostalgia. It's worth going back and hanging. Mm-hmm. But what I did realise, and I'm doing my wee kind of like research, is there's another 2. Karate Kid 3, and there's a Karate Kid 4.
And then there's a remake.
Yes, there's also a kind of like, not a reboot, it's basically called Cobra Kai, which is the kind of bully dojo, and it's from the kind of standpoint of the bully that was in Karate Kid 1, and so I've not checked that out. I'm going to check it out just for kind of like research it. The IMDb is not too bad on that one, but what I have noticed is as the numbers of the Karate Kid films go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, the IMDb rating goes down.
There's also a remake of the film. Have you seen that as well? It's got
yes, I've seen that. It wasn't the same for me, but I would probably say it was a vastly superior film with regards to overall construction. But nostalgia for me, I was like, that's not the Karate Kid and all that. But it's Jackie Chan that does it, and
it is.
Jackie Chan can at least do kung fu and karate and stuff like that, whereas the guy that played Mr. Miyagi is just an actor, really, and he was just doing his best, really, at the time. So
a lot of people at that time joined karate classes. Did any other people join like bonsai tree classes?
Well, funnily enough, that was a section in primary school we got to. We were only at it about 5 days, but eventually we had just a branch basically at the end of it. I don't know how it works, really, you know. So no, it's good nostalgia. I've probably been overly negative there, but it's good nostalgia. If you remember it from back in the day, it's good to go back.
Okay.
For the last 20 minutes. Anyway.
Yeah. Just fast forward through it all. Yeah. Great. So that was what's on your telly. So what's in my belly? So we'll switch back to me. I'm going to give 2 things here, 2 totally different things. First off, I'm just going to go through this quickly. It's a sweetie, right? And it's called Chupa Chup Chew Stick. I think that's what it's called. A Chew Sticks, STIX, I think. Okay. And I love the cherry flavour of them. They're about that size, right? And they're like, you know, the long wands that you get, like strawberry wands, and they've got like a filling in the middle, and the apple pencils and strawberry pencils that they do in the Youthie Cafe. I
don't eat these sweeties.
No,
I'm an adult, Lee. I don't eat these kind of sweeties now.
You need to. The 101 at Castlemilk shops, do them for 10 pence each. And every time I'm in, I take like a handful and just see how many I get. And I'm like, well, I'm spending 70 pence a day on these or whatever, or 40 pence on these a day. And honestly, I just wanted to put them out there for what's in my belly, because they usually are in my belly like every second day. But big up them. I've not tried the cola flavour because I'm not pure into cola flavoured sweeties. I like cola bottles, but apart from that, like I don't like cola lollies or cola ice poles or anything like that.
I think I'm quite in the opposite, because you mentioned cherry flavour. Cherry flavour, anything for me, I can't get behind it, Lee. Anything cherry. There's something about the taste. But here's a wee fact for you. Do you know that in a real cherry, for example, there's the seed in the middle? So there's enough cyanide in the seed of a cherry to potentially kill you.
Seriously?
So one, you might be okay. You might feel a bit unwell.
Aye.
2, go to the hospital.
Right. Jeez, I didn't know that. I think I'll stick to the sweeties instead of actually the healthy option.
Yeah, just stick to them.
Aye.
Definitely.
So that's one part of what's in my belly. The next part is what I had for dinner just there. And my girlfriend made dinner tonight, and not being bad about it, right? But I cook most of the time if I'm making dinner. Brooke doesn't. I don't think she enjoys cooking, to be honest. I think that's maybe what it is, because when she cooks, she's actually pretty good at it. She says that she isn't, so that she gets it. I think.
Right.
But, she made like a nice salt and chili chow mein kind of thing
Nice.
tonight, and it was brilliant. We got the salt and chili flavour that Darren shows in the video on our YouTube. Out of Home Bargains a while ago, and we use it on chips and things like that whenever we're having like a fake away or whatever. And then Brooks made it tonight, so she's fried up the chicken with some peppers and that through it, some soy sauce, the salt and chili, some Chinese five spice, put that all together, boiled the noodles, and then drained the noodles, and then put it all in the frying pan. If you've got a wok, it's probably better because they're bigger and are much better to fry things like that in. Put a wee bit extra soy sauce just to keep it moist and that, and just stir it together until it looks like it gets a wee bit more brown, the noodles and things like that. But it was brilliant. It was delicious. So I'm making her make it again next week. 10 out of 10, I says to her, because I have like I've said in previous podcasts, I'm making some things for the three of us in the house. It's me, Brooke, and our mum in the house just now, and I'm making a few things and that, and Maggie's making a few things, and Brooke does make dinner, but she prefers to just like make wee pastas and things like that. But she done well tonight, so 10 out of 10 for that. That's what's in my belly. I really enjoyed it.
This is quite strange because what's in my belly this week is something that's kind of quite similar in a lot of ways. So you've got the kind of the noodle kind of component, the stir-fried noodle component.
Yep.
I've got the stir-fried rice, and this week what's in my belly is nasi goreng. It's Indonesian fried rice. It's just like if you're looking at it from a point of view, if you've ordered a kind of normal Chinese takeaway, it's kind of like fried rice, but it's got lots of other things in it. So it's got, you've got some veg through it, you've got some prawns through it, there's a few kind of ways to do it. And then the thing that I think makes it, in my opinion, is that there's a nice crispy fried egg right on top of that rice.
Right, okay.
So to make the rice, you might need to get a few ingredients if you want to make it authentically, but you can get away with just like a few onions or shallots, some thinly sliced carrot, for example, some prawns, some chicken, whatever meat or no meat if you need to do that. And then you can just use soy sauce and maybe chuck some chilies through it. But if you're wanting to go full boona with it, you're going to get maybe going to put some shrimp paste in it. You're going to put some keycat manis, which is a sweet soy sauce, which I'm pretty sure you'd be able to pick up in the really big supermarkets and stuff like that. We were lucky in the place that we've moved from, Shawlands. There was a nice kind of like international kind of supermarket type thing, right, so you could get all these weird and wonderful kind of things. But I'll post the rest of it. It's basically, the only thing that I would say is you pre-cook your rice, pre-boil your rice, and leave it to cool. That's the only hint, and I'll say that for any fried rice dishes that you're doing. Make sure you're using cold cooked rice and not just stuff that you've boiled, because it just doesn't it doesn't turn out as well, basically. So what's that?
I've tried some fried rice, and I've just taken it from draining it and put it right into the frying pan, and it's not worked like you say as well as
a good way to do it is like if you're principally using that rice because you're going to use it for a fried rice dish, is to kind of almost undercook it, because it's going to cook more when you're frying it as well. And another thing, maybe if you can't get past that, not using hot rice, then just run it under a cold tap for a while, and then try and pat it down with a towel to get some of the water out. That's another thing you can do. But Nazi Goreng, try it out. And if you can't be bothered making anything, then Lidl do I wouldn't say it's authentic, but it's a rough estimation of a Nazi Goreng to give you an idea of where you should be roughly.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's authentic. I would say it's very westernized, but you can dress it up with some more kind of soy sauce and chilies and stuff like that to kind of make it a bit more authentic. And please do chuck that fried egg right on top of it and make it crispy in the bottom, and you will love it. Trust me.
Do you have like any special breads or any crackers or anything with that?
I'm not really big on prawn crackers and anything like that in general anyway. So
Right.
no, it's just one of these things that you have. It's I think they maybe use it as a kind of leftover. All of the countries in that region have their version of this fried rice.
Right.
I think the Koreans, it's bibimbap or something like that, and that uses a lot of different things as well. And it's basically just leftovers. Chuck it all in, and you've got a nice, tasty thing. I love rice anyway. Rice is one of my kind of main things anyway. So any way I can make rice nice, I'm going to do it.
Oh, there we go. What a way to end that section.
Oh, I know.
You're flying. So that's that section finished. If you want any recipes or want to throw us any recipes to speak about in future podcasts, just contact us and we'll send them or promote them on the podcast. So you might have noticed, but usually before we do that section, we come up with a wee nice news story just because what's going on in the world isn't great for everybody. A lot of people are struggling. You're usually clicking on the news and it's not the greatest of news because they're usually saying, oh, we're staying in another 3 weeks or we're locking down this area or whatever. So what we decided to do was make our nice news what our topic is really this week.
Yep.
And this week we're going to speak about how we have moved into phase 3 of lockdown, or coming out of lockdown, I suppose it is. So Chris, I believe you've got some information on what phase 3 actually is.
So there was a lot of information to pick apart there because it's been phased in. Phase 3 started last week, I believe, or was it this Monday or last Monday? I'm not sure. But anyway, I think it's probably just easier to say by the time people watch this video what they can do, and then in the future what they'll be allowed to do as well. So breaking it down really simply now. I'm just going to give myself a disclaimer. Don't just take my word for it. This is me just trying to break it down and make it easier to understand. Please check it out yourself before you're making a decision to do anything. There's information up on the Scottish Government website, and most main kind of news carriers have some sort of reporting on it. So phase 3, what it's going to mean is outdoors. You can meet up to 4 different households with a total of up to 15 people. Indoors, it's only 2 households with an up to maximum of 8 people. So for under 11s, they are basically saying that no social distancing is required. And this links back to what I was saying about visiting the park, where I was like, oh my God, I've seen smaller crowds at tea in the park here. I get really anxious, but when I read that, I went, oh, well, maybe it's actually allowed now, you know what I mean? It's not a problem, because really under 11s trying to get them to socially distance in the first place is a challenge, really, as it is with all of us, really. Anyone over 11 must still socially distance when needed. There's going to be certain different kind of things where the 1 meter rule might become something, but any place you're going into, it will have a clear sign you are entering a 1 meter zone, for example.
Yeah.
So I keep saying this, make your own decision on things. If you're not comfortable, don't do it, basically. For the kind of shops and things that you can go to now, so non-essential shops are opening, should be open by now, inside shopping centres, for example. There's going to be strict measures in place with that. We should also mention that any shop you go to now, face masks are mandatory, so you really have to have a face mask on. There's still a few people I see in shops that don't, but it's slowly getting to the point where everyone's got a face mask
Yeah.
on inside now. Museums, libraries, cinemas, hairdressers, places of worship, pubs and restaurants, all open, but with restrictions. You might have to pre-book a pub slot, you might have to pre-book a restaurant slot. Just check out individual establishments that you're going to. That's what I would say. Attendance for weddings and funerals, things like that, is now allowed, but it's still going to have some restrictions on it. Going into next week, by next Wednesday, or this Wednesday coming, if you're watching it when it goes up, beauticians will be open. That was the only, and tailors. So if you've been waiting to get a nice suit made for you, then you can.
Yeah.
And also there's going to be phased access to college and university campuses. So that might be quite relevant to some people that are actually listening to this as we speak.
Yeah.
So, and what that means, there wasn't much information on it. It'll probably be down to each individual establishment to set their own ground rules with that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to stress again, use your own judgment. Don't do it if you're not comfortable. These are guidelines. These are things that you're technically allowed to do, but the risk isn't away, guys. And unfortunately, I know that sounds really bad, but just use your best judgment at the same time.
And a great thing to do as well, if you are worried about an establishment and what it's going to be like when you haven't been for so long, go on their website. A lot of them have updated websites. A lot of them have updated social media platforms to show you. They've done, like, if you haven't checked out our tour of Castlemilk High School, check it out on our YouTube channel. But a lot of places have done wee tours of how their establishment's going to look. So, like, restaurants might show you that you'll be 2 booths apart or from another party, or shops might show you enter through this way, but you have to leave through this way, and they might show you how people are queuing up outside and things like that. So yeah, check out them online, either on their social medias or their websites, because as I was saying last week, I've been starting up golf again, and me and my friends are playing a course on Friday, and before booking it, I didn't know how things would be. So what I done was went on their website, and they give you a whole list of guidelines on how to follow them. They're doing booking slots, so I had to book it in advance, whereas this course you would normally be able to turn up on the day and just pay to play and just go on behind another group. But now they're doing time slots. You have to wait till the group in front of you are off the hole before you can start playing. You have to wait until the group in front of you are out of the tee box before you can step into the tee box. And that will go across to lots of different other establishments like restaurants, bars, barbers, salons, things like that. So yeah, and they're great as well. I've been to a few places already. As I was saying earlier, I've been to a couple of beer gardens, and they are really looking out for their customers and their staff. I seen a post from a local pub in our community that says, if you come to our establishment and you don't feel comfortable, or you see something that doesn't make you feel comfortable, please make us aware of it. Don't just leave, because everyone's still learning, I think, about
Yeah, no,
how
that's
to
right.
get things right. I think we're still learning down at the complex how to get things right, and we're doing a good job of it, keeping young people socially distanced, and but still allowing them to attend the youth complex for a wee bit, see their friends and see the workers. But yeah, just as Chris says, don't worry if you don't feel comfortable going somewhere. Just don't make your own decisions. It's up to you.
Definitely. I would it would probably be worth mentioning we are running lockdown lunches on Tuesday and Thursdays. So booking detail, you need to pre-book a slot. Booking link is up in our social medias. Please do come down. It'd be nice to see you all, and you get a free munch. You can't really complain, can you?
I think Harry called it Scrannon Bants last week. So,
Gran and Bants, yeah, that's it.
is there any, just a quick question to you, Chris? I'm not sure if you know the answer. Sorry
Sure.
for putting you on the spot, but
Oh dear.
dentists and opticians.
Believe so, yeah. Dentists and opticians will be open by the time people watch this. It's we record the night before the podcast goes up on YouTube, so as of today, as we are recording, so they're open. Dentist treatments are restricted to,
Yeah.
and I don't know what this means, non-aerosol treatment. So I believe that might be if you're getting your teeth scaled and polished, I don't think you can get that done. I think it's purely for if you've got an issue going on or something like that, you know.
I think the opticians are the same. They're emergencies only because you can't have too many bookings coming in because the same doctors are working with the same equipment, same chairs, and although they do sterilise them, usually between patients, that is the rules and regulations, but it's still going to be harder to regulate that with this issue going on. So yeah, that's a nice news because hopefully it'll make you guys a wee bit happier that you can do more things. Like if you've got a nephew or niece that you haven't seen for a while, you can now meet them outdoors and they don't have to socially distance with their friends or things like that.
You can meet indoors as well.
Indoors as well.
It's up indoors. There's
Right.
up to 2 different households, up to 8 people. So you can meet inside as well. So
great news for
it
meeting
seems
family.
like I think I said just to you when we weren't recording, it seems like a big jump, like from phase 2 to phase 3, and the First Minister has also echoed that sentiment, saying that this is the thing that she's most nervous about. So it's really important that we don't take this, because it seems like a lot has just opened at the one time, that we just don't take this as like a kind of free pass to do whatever you want, because that could easily put us back the way again. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but it's good. It's good news.
Yeah, we'll get more information on shielding, I think the 31st of July, because that's when shielding's supposed to end for those people. And we'll get more information on education as well. And when John Swinney decides he's got to go through a lot and decide what's happening with schools and things like that. But we'll always be updating you guys on our social medias and things like that as well.
I think the latest is that they are, if everything goes the same way as currently, then they're intending to go back full time.
Yep.
That's what the government has said. Despite I've had communications for primary schools that it was 2 days, but that was out of date information. So I think probably what the main thing we take from this is things can change quite easily. Yeah. So just keep an eye out for the information and stuff like that out there.
My personal view on education, this isn't the Youth Complex's view and what they think should go on, but my opinion is that they shouldn't go back to normal right away. They should phase young people and children in with what they've proposed earlier and just say, look, we're going to try this for 6 to 8 weeks until the midterm break or whatever it's called, the first break, I think it's the October week. Until then, we'll see how we're getting on, and then we'll decide during those 2 weeks if we're going to bring you back to normal or if we're going to extend that to Christmas. Just because there has been so many changes, and young people and children will be worried about things. They'll be worried about, is everything going to be okay if I go back to normal to school? Parents will be worried as well. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. And I think teachers and staff members have been putting in a lot of work for it just to be kind of thrown out the window. And I know that happens in jobs, that happens in employment, and especially with schools and education, because things can change in a minute. But there has been a lot of work put in for there to be this setup where it's kind of distance learning and the 2 days for primary schools or half days for secondary schools. So I think they should give it a try. Comment on these as well if you've got opinions on it, or if you've got questions on it. Comment on our videos, or send us messages on social media, and just we want to hear from you guys as well and hear about your opinions. But that's my opinion on it anyway, Chris.
It's valid. I mean, I think everyone has a certain level of anxiety when any restrictions are lifted. And as I said, and I've said this now many times, use your own judgment. With school, it's a bit different, obviously. So the decisions has to be made by education department and government. And I think probably, and again, this is my opinion as well, is that they've brought, I think Scotland has probably dealt with this better than some other areas in the UK, and I think that they are erring on the side of caution and stuff like that. So just, it's a tough one to really to know where we're going to be in August. Hopefully we will be at a stage where actually, you know something, it's okay. For a phased or whatever, or full time or whatever. It's just going to be different. I don't think anyone's going to really know until it happens, really, how to deal with it. So,
Indeed.
so
Yeah.
good luck to us all.
I'm just looking forward to getting back to restaurants, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm wanting a Nando's or something.
Well, a cheeky Nando's.
Right.
I can't join you on that. I'm not really a fan. I don't see what all the
Right.
fuss is about a Nando's.
Okay.
Although I do particularly, as we're going back to what's in my belly, I do enjoy their ranges of sauces, like their mayonnaise sauces. So they've
Yeah.
got kiwi mayonnaises. So I would highly recommend
Aye.
that. They're not my top list of flavoured mayonnaises, but it's certainly in the top 3.
Other flavoured mayonnaises are available.
Indeed.
Right, so that's us done. Oh, nice news / topic for this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's covered enough information for you guys. If you need any more information, just hit us up on social media or email us. So we're down to the quiz now. Chris, you were cheated last week, as we mentioned already.
I was.
How did you feel last week when you found out Harry was cheating?
I was really surprised, and as I mentioned earlier, it was they done it in a very skillful way that I was just like, okay, yeah, no problem. But in saying that, though, I feel vindicated because it's finally arrived, Lee.
As it came.
It's finally arrived.
Oh my days! I'm so excited. Have you got it with you?
Of course, as the reigning champion, it would be time. So if you just bear with me a second.
It's exciting stuff. I've not seen it yet.
I just there you go.
Oh,
it's a wonderful creation. It harks back to my joy of another certain kind of sports entertainment product.
Some wrestling.
It's going to be a while. It's been a long time coming, but I think that it's here to stay. It's
right,
here to stay. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there's a threat to all guests coming on.
Yeah.
Here to stay. Got a message for your fans, Chris? On your achievement?
Just keep being used. That's it.
That's it. That'll do. Right,
That's it. Short and sweet.
Aye, I like it. So is that going to stay on your shoulder whilst you answer these questions?
Of course, dear boy. Of course.
Okay. So we've got...
Is that no questions right now?
Aye.
Chuck it in the bin.
I'll ask you a question before we do these questions. We've got 5 questions on the previous couple of weeks in the news. So 5 questions. It's not that many this week. How many do you think we get right? With that belt on your shoulder?
I think with this belt on my shoulder, I'm going to go for the full 5 this week. That's how confident this thing makes me.
Let's do this. We'll just get right into it then, if you're that confident.
Oh, yeah.
So, question 1. Which city became the first in the UK to be put under a local lockdown?
Leicester.
1-0. Easy. Question 2. Which musician revealed he was running for US president?
Kanye West.
Oh my days. This one might throw you. It is a sports question. It is a football question.
Oh dear.
Which team beat Hull City 8-0 in the English Championship this week?
Oh my goodness. You've caught me here, Lee, with this football chat. It's probably one of the big teams. I'm going to say, is it? Oh, it's not.
So I was going to add a wee bit extra to this.
Oh, go on then. Give me something.
I'll help you out. Because this also did happen the last couple of weeks. They're going into administration and they were docked 12 points, this team. If that helps out.
Jeez, oh. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. So it was going to be one of the kind of smaller teams then, I would have thought then. So,
well, for English Championship standard, there are...
So are we talking like the Premier?
No, it's basically a second division.
Oh, it's second division. So it's like the one down? The one down? Yeah, right, okay. Jeez, oh, right. Oh, God, I couldn't even tell you who's that. Aston Villa?
No, unlucky. It was Wigan Athletic.
Wigan, right, okay.
Aye, they were up 7-0 at half-time.
Wow.
Aye, that's a doing.
It was like that Brazil-Germany game in the World Cup, wasn't it? It's that kind of rare occurrence.
Crashing. So 2 out of 3, still good. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Question 4, which war veteran is set to be knighted by the Queen in a personal ceremony?
Is it Tom? Old Tom, the
Aye,
man
Captain
that did the
Tom.
war camp, Captain Tom, the
Captain
man
Tom
that
Miller,
did all the
yeah.
war. And did he not get made up to a colonel or something? Is he Colonel
Did he?
Tom or something like
Right,
that?
okay, well, that's amazing. 100 years old, so that would be nice. He's been knighted by the Queen. It's like a personal ceremony, so it's just for him.
That's nice.
And question 5, to make it 4 out of 5 and a great week for the reigning champion with the belt on his shoulder, which social media platform could be banned due to concerns over privacy? It has already been banned in India.
Is it TikTok?
It's TikTok. 4 out of 5. Well done. I knew you would get the TikTok because you're a big fan of TikTok. I've seen your TikToks with your daughter. They're great.
Absolutely. Well, my daughter is a huge fan of TikTok. It's something that I have to keep an eye on now, because
Aye.
with that current news story, it's something I'm going to keep more of an eye on now.
Yeah. So it's there's fears that it's a Chinese-owned organisation, and there's fears that the Chinese government are taking data from it, from people. So India has banned it already. Not sure what the UK stance is on it right now, but there'll probably be more news to follow in the coming weeks about
I'd
that.
be very sceptical if they banned it.
Aye.
It's so blooming popular that
Yeah.
it's already kind of grown arms and legs,
Mhm.
particularly with the much younger generation. It seems to be the thing.
Aye.
But hey,
Yeah. Great. So 4 out of 5 for the champion.
not bad.
Let us
Not
know how
bad.
you did if you managed to get answers in before Speedy Gonzalez here answered the questions. Um, let us know in the comments below how you done out of 5. So that's our podcast for this week. That's episode 8 over.
Episode 8.
If you guys would like to get in touch with us, just check out our social medias, messages on there, and Chris will just give them before we head away.
So, first of all, our new one is that you can listen to the audio only versions of I wouldn't say selected episodes, but our earlier episodes of the podcast on themilkround.podbean.com. If you want to get us on our social medias, Facebook is Kelly Youth Complex Staff, our Twitter is Youth Complex CYC, our Instagram is youth_complex, our TikTok is Kelly Youth Complex, and as always, you can email us at cycyouthteam@gmail.com.
Great. And obviously on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe and check out our other videos and ring the bell for notifications. That'd be great.
And that's it for this week. It's short and sharp and wonderful, but we will see you next week. And for now, hail to the champion.
Reigning champ.